The no-handed cartwheel, aka the aerial. No one knows exactly where this move came from. I have my suspicions. But there's no way I could know for sure. This move has been practiced in a range of disciplines, including gymnastics, wushu, capoeira, tricking, free running, the list goes on. And a select few practitioners have been wondering, can I do two in one jump?
Is double aerial possible? It depends on what kind of double aerial you're referring to. If you mean like a true aerial that's fully extended the entire time and it literally looks like two aerials in the air, I don't know if that's possible.
It's a hard one to imagine. I don't like to say that anything is impossible because some things I would have thought probably impossible have actually been landed now. So, although I can't picture it, it's possible.
I think that double aerial could very well be possible. I think you'd have to be a lot of crazy and a lot of strong to try it, but I think it's possible.
Is the double aerial possible? The vast majority of our followers believe that it is, and I agree with them. Though if you'd asked me the same question 5 years ago, I probably would have laughed in your face, made a rude comment about your mother, and then mooned you. So what is it that's changed my opinion on this topic? To understand, we're going to have to be crystal clear about what an aerial actually is. No-handed cartwheel, it's not going to cut it when it comes to adding another rotation in the air. I prepared a list. The move must have every single one of these features to be considered an aerial.
A real aerial has to go over the top with the hips facing forwards.
No, before you gymnasts get on your high horse, I'm talking about all kinds of aerial here. So this definition is going to cover all aerials from all acrobatic disciplines that I know of. You must take off one leg. Pretty simple one. The other leg comes backwards, push off one leg. Your head must be below your hips as your legs come over. Now, gymnasts would want you to go straight over, but in other disciplines, we're not quite so strict. So as long as your hips are above your head halfway through the move, I'd say it's an aerial. Your legs should be straight and apart in the air. You should be in a hollow body / dished position as you go round. If you lift your chin up and arch your back, then it's going to become a butterfly kick, which is a similar move, but still different. There should be a clear line between your chest and the ground all the way through the movement. That means that you can't have your chest pointing up towards the sky. If your head travels to this side of your takeoff leg, then it also won't be an aerial. This will become a trick called a raise, which is similar, but also different. So anything from this to this can be considered an aerial, according to me, Kojo. Back to the big question. Can this be done twice in the air? It seems kind of far-fetched at first, but there's a lot we can look at that suggests otherwise. I present to you the double frisbee. This move has been around in free running for years now, and it might just be the closest thing we have to a double aerial. Just do it with straight legs. It's a double aerial, right? This ticks a lot off our list, but it looks a bit wrong, doesn't it? It's kind of like a straddled double side flip. It doesn't really have that double aerial wow factor. that we're looking for, that I'm looking for anyway. This is because the double frisbee uses a tight tuck in the second flip to speed up the rotation to get you round. It doesn't have a defining feature of the aerial that I didn't mention earlier. It's led by the kicking leg. It drives backwards in your takeoff and kicks down towards the ground. It's one continuous kick of that back leg. So although your leg would drive back initially in the takeoff, you're just holding a shape afterwards.
I know it might seem like I'm splitting hairs here because you probably could count this as a double aerial. But this example's from pretty high up, so would it even be possible on the floor?
Is this really the best technique for the double aerial?
The macaroon! This trick was first performed by Shosei Iwamoto a few years ago. If you don't know who he is, he's an incredibly talented Japanese tricker. At a first glance, this looks very similar to the double frisbee. At a second glance, it also looks kinda similar. It is pretty similar, but different. It's actually a much better skeleton for a double aerial to be built on. Not only is he doing it on flat ground, it also works kind of differently. It's pretty much the same for the first half, but at this point here, something interesting happens. He turns his hips 90 degrees towards the direction he's traveling and then steps over. This second part of the movement actually contains a lot of what makes an aerial an aerial. Although this boy does have near superhuman abilities, it's not that that's making this possible, it's this technique. As his takeoff leg only has to do 1.5 rotations, as opposed to 2 rotations in the double frisbee. This might seem small, but it's going to make a huge difference, especially when it comes to doing this on the ground with straight legs. So what would this look like as a double aerial? When imagining a straight-legged version of this trick, I think it's important to look at the aerial helicoptero. Here's one I prepared earlier. So they both have that same aerial takeoff, and they both end up in this position. Although one of them's tucked and the other one has an extended leg, this is actually a very similar position. And have a look at that aerial helicoptero. How does it get to this same position? The leg that you kick backwards swings all the way down and back up again. So if you add on that macaroon ending, this would really look like a double aerial. You wouldn't just take off, hold a shape and rotate twice. That back leg would kick all the way around, back up again and back down again, creating the illusion of 2 aerials. But is it even an illusion? It kind of would be 2 aerials. It ticks every box. We have the split legs, we have the 1 leg takeoff, the head is below the hips for both rotations. Is that not a double aerial? I'd say it is. So who's going to be the one to bring this to life? Probably Shosei, as it will need someone small and light, probably with abnormally short legs, as they've got to go for a huge range of motion, so that would be a big benefit here. I could be completely wrong though. It might be the great Carly.
That's my... Hey! Hey! That's my fault! I'm sorry. What?
Who knows? Let me know in the comments if you think this is possible and who you think will be the first person to land this move. I'm going to start posting more videos on this channel like this one. So if you enjoyed it, subscribe and I'll see you next time.